It's Rick Without the K. James presents In My Opinion Podcast.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, as well as the notification bell. Thank you for watching.
Next question, which will lead me to the next question, right? What is one negative thing that you took from a parent or parents, right? I thought of this question because I watched that movie. I'm never going to get this fucking title right. Everything, Everywhere, all at once.
All at
some
once.
shit, right? Yeah. And I was watching, and the point of the movie is the daughter doesn't like how the father treats her, and she treats her own daughter like that. And it comes up in the movie. And it made me think. I was like, there's things that I do that my kids will tell me, like, hey, you tell me you didn't like when grandma did that shit to you. Like, why do you do it to us?
Right.
So I try not to do certain things. And one of the negative things that I try not to do is, I was saying, my mom always told us growing up how my older brother was her favorite. I said, you know how that made a fucking kid feel? And I said, so I tell my kids, I don't like either one of you motherfuckers, right?
Right.
And I say that jokingly.
To even it out.
And I say that jokingly because both my kids know I am a different type of dad. Both my kids know that I am the ride and die dad. Like, if they had to deal with the shit that I'm going through in custody issue, believe me, they wouldn't. Dad would be serving some time. So, I love my kids in that respect. Where, to this day, my mom hasn't even seen my kids for the last 6 years. You know what I mean? So, grandma don't come and visit, and I make sure I call them. I text them. My 21-year-old lives with me, and if he's gone past like midnight, I'll text him or call him. Be like, where you at? What, man? I'm with my friends. Okay, you can plan on coming home? You need a ride or anything? And it's just basically to check in and make sure he's okay.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where my mom ain't talked to that woman in 5-6 months, right? So, for me, that's a negative thing that I decided when I had my kids. I said, I want to make sure my kids know that they're the most important thing until they turn 18, and then I'm going to live my goddamn
out of here. Literally counting the days down.
That's my thing. I think we started with you last time, so we'll start with you, D. What is one negative thing that your kid has probably told you that you didn't even maybe realize, where you're like, fuck, yeah, I guess I am like my mom or my dad?
Like that my kid told me?
Yeah. Or that you realize by yourself. But normally it's your kid would tell you, like...
Well, I mean, yeah, he hasn't really said it in words, but procrastinate. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a tendency to like stare off into space and just like zone out, or just not do what I'm supposed to do until like the very last minute. You know, like if I know that. And
which parent do you get that from?
Definitely my mom, who I didn't know. Like, I got it from her because she pretty much hit it well. She just blamed it on us her whole life. Not in a bad way. I thought it was me.
I thought it was me.
And I started being on time, and I realized, it's you. It's not me. I changed.
Why haven't you, bitch? I told you 8:30. It's 9:15.
Then I started being on time. I was like, wait a minute. It's you. That's a hell of a revelation to have. It's like, what? 3 days in a row I've been on time? No, I am not the problem here.
Yeah. But the thing with that is, though, like, I mean, I can say this. As far as negative traits to having a parent, for that to be her only, like, negative thing, like, that affects me, I'm fortunate.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't complain about it. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, she's my mom. You have to wait for her.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't, like, when somebody comes to pick her up from the house, like her sisters, my aunts or something, they can be like, I'm on my way. I'll be there at noon.
Yeah.
At noon, my mom is, like, cooking. You know what I'm saying? She's making like some hash browns, some scrambled eggs or something. And I'm like, Mom, I'm not even hungry. She was like, oh, you're not? Okay, well, I'm just going to eat it.
I guess I just eat it for myself. I was kind of hoping you'd say that. I only got one egg, so.
Nobody asked you to make hash browns. My aunt's outside waiting for you, honking the horn.
You don't hear that horn, huh?
Yeah, she's like, oh, let me go get dressed.
Get dressed! He doesn't have the wolf whistle.
Right.
Just now get dressed.
Let me do some laundry real quick so I can get dressed.
I was always the one that had to go outside and explain like why she was taking so long. Like she's like, go tell her I'll be out there in a minute. I'm like, and I come out, mom like, she ain't ready, and she like, no. I was like, you want something to drink?
You want something to drink?
I'll bring a glass of water out.
She's making something to eat.
You want some hash browns?
But see, you see how one thing leads to another. Procrastination led to you being like a great host. So you should be thanking your mom for teaching you manners.
Yeah.
You're a phenomenal
Mr.
host.
Miyagi'd you and shit.
If anybody
You weren't
knows how
just
to,
wiping.
D knows how to keep people entertained for an extra 45 minutes.
Because I got to, yeah.
That's how he became a comic.
My first hot five was just like, wait.
trying to explain why your mom didn't come out.
Oh, D never ran the light with his mom, man. If anything, he had to extend the set. It was like, okay, keep going. Keep going.
The headliner stuck at the airport.
Right. Be that one feature you show up to do 20, then halfway through your set. Bro, one time this happened to me at Tommy T's. Halfway through my set, I was opening for Mark Curry.
I was going to say, it must have been Mark Curry.
And she fucking came up, the waitress came up and just gave me a note. And my stupid ass read it on stage. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. And the note said, keep it going because Mark Curry's not here yet. And I'm like, oh, and I said that on stage, and then and then she looked at me. She's like, "What the fuck you saying on stage for?" And then I realized, like, damn, I guess I got to keep it going. So I just had to like play off that for like 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And then just try to keep his shit rolling until he walked in like half hour later. Bro, he was like an hour late for his shit, dog.
Really?
Doesn't he live in the Bay?
Bro, well, I don't know if he was. I don't know where he was coming from. He just wasn't at the club yet. And they had to send me the note.
He's synonymous for showing up late, bro.
Notorious.
He's a beast when he gets on the stage.
Oh yeah, he's savage.
Yeah. He's... All right, Rudy. Bad thing, parent, and please tell me which one it was.
All right, I think from my mom.
Oh, you're gonna go negative on both parents?
Yeah, I'm gonna go both of them. From my mom, the one thing
he has both parents.
Yeah,
Shit.
yeah, you know.
I could have went the other way, but I just didn't want to get no gangster shit. So.
That definitely wasn't the problem with my dad. I promise you that. With my mom, I think the one of the negative traits that I got from her is that she's the type of person that she's hard to work with sometimes because she wants things done her way. And sometimes when I do have collaborations with people, I'm a very patient person, very patient. I pride myself on having patience with other people, but who I don't have patience with is with myself and with the things that I want to get done. So when I'm collaborating with other people, or I'm even it could be a small project, like even building a bookshelf. I'm the type of dude that'll be like, if I don't see you doing it the way that I think it should be done, I'll figure out a way to get you out of the situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll try not to be rude about it, but I want you out of the situation. You know, so I can take over the project and do it my way. And that's not always good. Many times, you know, sometimes that's cool because, like, you know, like you could interpret it like, oh, as you know, Rudy he's very focused and he wants to get things done. But sometimes I could just be a dick and be like, man, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. I snatch this shit away and I'll be like, man, you just go, leave me alone. I'll do it, you know? And that's a lack of patience in a lot of cases.
That's how you finesse your way? Because that's what you...
I mean...
That's how you finesse your way? Get the fuck out my way?
Just get out my way. You know, like, because you get so... And I noticed that my mom, when I was a kid, bro, like, you could never do anything with her because she would get so impatient. She's a phenomenal mom. But that was her one big thing. If we had to clean the house, that's why cleaning the house was such a nightmare sometimes. Because if we didn't do it her way, bro, we weren't going to hear the end of it. And then the minute that
What did she do if you didn't do it the right way?
So Mexicans have this thing where it's like, you'll cuss yourself out. Like if a mom will be like, to a son, she'll be like, you motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And so when my mom would start cussing herself out because she was mad at me, I'd be like, oh, I fucked up big time. Like, there's no coming back now. She would take the fucking squeegee away or whatever I was doing. And if she had to take over the job, bro, like, it made me feel like such a failure. Like, I was like, oh, man, like, because I know she was mad. I know she was upset, like, when she had to start doing the job. So every now and then when I catch myself doing that, I'm like, man, I can't be like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm just going to damage my relationship with this person just because I want to fucking build the bookshelf a certain way or whatever.
Did you realize that at a younger age or getting older?
No, as I got older and I started, because the older you get, you start acting like your parents a little bit. You know, you start showing the tendencies that you've been locking up in your mind for years. They finally start coming out, right? So as I got a little bit older and I started doing little stuff like, like I used to work at Home Depot, and when we had to build shit like the sheds or the lawnmowers or whatever, bro, I would just find myself like telling people like, man, get the fuck, I got it, I'll do it. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. You're just and making them feel bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's not cool, bro. Because typically I typically get along well with people, but that one thing just like followed me my whole life. And that's all thanks to my mom.
Before you get into your dad, I want to share this before I forget. And that's the reason I asked this, because I didn't realize till I got older. I tell people, like when I joined the military and they wanted you to do shit a certain way, I was like, man, this just, and they yelled at you. I was like, I wanted to give them a hug and shit, because I was like, this is my mom. Like, thanks. I share this story because that's why I asked you how she taught you. My mom would tell us to clean the room, and she'd come in after and be like, so you guys are done? And if it wasn't to her specifications,
right,
she'd take the toy box out, dump it, and say, do it again. Right. And we were like 5-fucking-year-old kids, right? So when I tell people, like, I saw his face go, like, people don't believe, like, these are true stories.
Yeah.
But the people that have met my mom are like, nah, he's right.
Sounds
on
about
point.
right.
Like, yeah, how do you, and I am the same dickhead when it comes to shit like that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until, I want to say, the last 10 years that finally I'm like, damn, I really am a dick. Like, so now I just make it a point when I'm doing something like, hey, can you just please let me do it, because I'm going to blow up on you.
Right.
And I'm going to be the asshole. So
I don't want to do that.
Leave me alone and let me figure this out.
Yeah.
Because I'm the point where I see my mom, like, if I'm doing something and let's say it doesn't come out right, I'll fucking punch a hole through the wall, and now I gotta patch the fucking hole in the wall.
Right.
Too.
Do it
what
again.
I mean? So
that's your way of reliving your mom. Do it again.
So I wanted to throw that out there. But your pops, what's the?
I think with my
thing?
dad, every now and then, like I'll get a little too pessimistic. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll be like, nah, I can't do that. Like, because my dad was like a very safe dude, very safe. Like if you ever met my dad, you know, and you sat down, and you talked to us for like 10 minutes, you would never think that we were related. Because my personality and his personality are nothing alike. Nothing. He's the antithesis of everything that I am. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't like to take chances. He don't like confrontation. He don't like loud talking. He doesn't, you know, it's not that he doesn't have a personality. It's just that he's just more diminutive. He's a more quiet dude, a man of few words. You know what I'm saying? And those are all great qualities in and of themselves. But in comparison, we're nothing alike. But the one thing that and when I was a kid, I used to strive to not be like my dad, because my nature and his just didn't line up. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like I loved him. He was a phenomenal dad. But when I would see the way he would carry himself, sometimes I'd be like, I would side up with my mom a lot, because I'd be looking at my dad like, damn, dog, like, don't you ever want to just fucking get into an argument? Don't you ever want to just be like, I know you don't like what the fuck she said, you know? And I'm a little kid and I'm watching my mom basically run the show, right? And I'd be like, huh?
With your dad being quiet, is he a hard worker?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, he's one of those old school Mexicans.
Old school Mexicans, always provided.
Wakes up 5 o'clock in the morning, makes his breakfast, takes off.
The man
works.
tucks his pajamas into his pants. Like he tucks his pajamas in when he goes to bed. He plays it by the book. You feel me? Okay. Never strays away from the playbook. I'm just trying to get
okay.
He's that dude. He's that never strays away from the playbook, which is admirable. But my nature and his nature never really lined up. And so I would always side up with my mom, because I would see them have, you know, go back and forth the way couples do. And in my mind, I'd be like, bro, like, you're not going to fucking just say I know you didn't like what she said. I saw it in your face.
Like, do something.
You're not going to fucking say something. And it would frustrate me, because boys want to be like their dad somehow. You want to find a connection. That's why I love the Dodgers so much, because my dad introduced me to the Dodgers. And subconsciously, I think throughout my life, I was like, this is our thing. Right. This is our thing where we're connected. We don't have nothing in common, but we got this right here. Right. And that's why I love them so dearly. But one thing that I think I pulled from him at some point is, after all those years of watching him, like, you know, play it safe, every now and then I find myself playing it safe, and I think of my dad immediately. I'm like, nah, you know, no disrespect to my pops, but fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Like I made it this far not doing that. I'm not about to start, you know, I'm not about to start pulling back now. For what? You know, it reminds me of my pops. And I'm like, I can't do that. I've already come this far.
Right. So I got to ask you this then. Like Ronnie brings up that his mom was the one to basically rule the house, though his dad did. So was it like that? Like the mom was the loud and obnoxious, but when if dad had to speak up, you knew that was the last word.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
was that
That's
your
how it
household?
was in my house. That's how it was in my house as well. But my dad was never really put to the test that often though, because although they were different, and this is like kind of where my philosophy on relationships comes into play too. My parents are very different people, totally different people, and I think that's really what helped them, you know, be such a good couple. They're still together. They're going on 42 years now. So they've been a really good team because it's like, bro, you can't be with somebody who's just like you.
Yeah.
It's not a good formula. I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm just saying it's not a good formula. It's not a good recipe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that, you know, they never really had to get to the point where my pops was put to the test. At least not that often. I saw him do it many times, but it wasn't like a every other day occurrence. You know, my dad didn't have to speak up because we already knew what the play was, and my mom was the coach and she was enforcing it and everything. You know, and when the owner is a good owner and they got good coaches and good assistants,
management.
you don't even have to hear their voice.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
You ain't got to hear from them, you know, because they got everything else in order. Every now and then they got to speak up. And when they speak up, you know what time it is.
Right.
But if they got their shit together the owner of the team, as the head of the household that my dad was, everything was in order already.
And that's a good analogy, man.
Yeah.
I hope my parents hear that because my mom is the type of manager who's just out there. Like if I was my dad, the owner, like I would have already fired and moved on and got new management.
That's how you don't win championships.
But see, that probably, I mean, that even though that dynamic probably frustrated you at some points,
Yeah.
it also made your life probably in retrospect a lot easier because if your dad had been prone to argue like your mom, they would have been clash of the titans
All the time, dog.
And that, like, your dad probably wise enough. That's wisdom.
Yeah.
To, like,
Yeah.
the best thing you can know is like when, as a guy, like when to be quiet, because sometimes running the show, if you know you run it, then I don't really care what she thinks.
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Like, real talk.
I'm
Yeah.
running the show. Like, if people think that you run, that's cool. But you know, I know, and I know you know.
Yeah.
So hey, do you?
Yeah,
You know
there's power. There's power through there's power through brute force, but then there's also power through leverage, and I mean that like in a very scientific way. Like you can move a boulder by pushing it, putting your hands on it, and just brute force pushing it. But you could also move a boulder by getting a stick and just flipping it just that little bit to
Right.
make it roll. You feel me?
Right.
And my dad was a leverage dude. My mom was brute force. But if they both had been leverage or brute force, bro, I mean, brute force would have been crazy.
Yeah.
Leverage, we would have got nothing done ever in that motherfucker. Just two dudes, two people with sticks. We would have got shit done ever, bro. So that's why I value the notion of difference within the personalities in a partnership. It's a dynamic that has to be fulfilled, but you know the yin doesn't exist without the yang
Right.
and whatnot. You know.
Yeah, that's why it's like Batman and Robin. It's not Robin and Robin or
Right.
Batman and Batman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's-
Different. Where it's
like
funny.
two Batmans wouldn't even get along. Like how would that work? Like,
I'm Batman. No, I'm Batman.
Boy, Charlie Murphy, my main man, Rick James. That's the one you think, the comedian Rick James. Get up.
I can't hear my neighbor crying, I can't breathe.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, as well as the notification bell. Thank you for watching.